Hey everyone, Sergio with the Rideshare Guy. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wheel. Well, today I'm joined by Luis. Luis, introduce yourself. Tell us how many years you've been driving, what kind of car you drive, what city you drive in, all that good stuff.
Well, yeah. So my name's Luis Felipe. I've been driving just Uber and Lyft for the past 9 months, but I have been doing delivery, not for Uber, but for another delivery company, which is almost the same as Uber Eats, essentially, for 6 years. And I was driving about 50,000 miles a year doing that delivery job. So I do have quite an experience when it comes to driving and delivering. And I also drive a 2017 Accord Hybrid. Really good car. I love it. So,
Yeah, perfect car for any kind of delivery, really, with good
mhm.
mileage, good dependability.
Yeah, great.
We don't mind if you share us what you're delivering, actually. I know what it is, but
Yeah, yeah.
we don't.
So I've been in the cannabis industry for quite some time. But I also once it legalized, I got a legal W-2 job. And so what I really liked about it right off the bat is say it's even dead, you're getting paid just to sit in your car. So it's super cool. The mile reimbursement is 67 cents per mile. On top of your about at that first time when I started the delivery back in 2019, it was like 16, $17 an hour plus the 67 cents and the tips. And the tips roll in because they kind of think of it as almost like alcohol, like you're a bartender. They call it a bud tender, right? So it's kind of like the same thing. But yeah, I really like that. I've been doing that for 6 years now. 4 years with one company. I had a Honda Civic first, what I originally started with, and in about 4 years or so, I put about 220,000 miles on it, and then I got rid of it, and I ended up renting a Tesla through Hertz. Big mistake. Oh my goodness, that thing's a stay-at-home car for sure. It's not a runner car. I think every 4 hours I had to supercharge. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's yeah, I didn't like it. It's a great car. It's a fun
yeah,
car, amazing features. I don't want to bag on it.
yeah.
But it's definitely not a Honda runner. Like I get
No,
700 miles a tank
for
on the
for doing deliveries and rideshare, look, if you don't have a car, it's fine, but it automatically makes you like a full-time driver, right? Because
yeah,
the
yeah,
rental and between rental and charging is five,
brutal
six, seven
prices,
hundred
man.
dollars a week.
Brutal.
I'm like, come on, man. It's like, we did the math on that. It doesn't look
It
that
does
good.
it doesn't work,
Yeah.
man. Unless you don't mind making below like $20 an hour after expenses,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. But the reason I actually, we're interviewing you is because you were on one of, I think it was the last live stream,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you're fairly new driver, right?
Yeah.
I would say nine
9 months.
months
Yeah.
old. How many trips you have under your belt so far?
So I've had about 2,500 with Uber and about a little over 500 with Lyft. So about 3,000 so far in 9 months.
So you're averaging about three, 400 trips a month. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And, that, and
yeah,
that's always driving. I've yet to drive more than 35 hours, I think, in a week. So
okay, so you have the cannabis delivery W-2, which
mm,
is probably paying better, I would say, than rideshare. But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm gonna do the comparison. So, I mean, look, we know. So there's 7 days, 24 hours, right? So what is that? That's like 168 hours a week.
hmm
So if you're doing that, how many hours you doing the cannabis delivery for? Is it
32
40 hours?
hours. It's 32 hours. So it's 8 hour shifts, 4 days a week, Tuesday to
Okay.
Friday.
Okay. And then you're squeezing in another 35 hours, 35 hours in rideshare, right?
Correct. So how I kind of go about it is I wake up at 3:30 a.m. I'll start hit the road 4:30, hopefully the latest, and then hopefully sometimes a little sooner. I'll drive the whole morning shift. So we have a big military town here, so it's a lot of military rides, a lot of airport rides that early in the morning. And so I do that till about I'd say 9, 10 a.m. If I'm really feeling it, to like 11, and then I'll come home, shower, take a nap if I need to, or work out, depending what the schedule is. And then after that, I go to work, usually 12:30, 1 p.m. until night, about 9:30 p.m. So I do that Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, I tend to drive. Kind of depends on my day or my schedule if I have errands, but I tend to try and get it at least 8 to 10 hours minimum on a Saturday. And then Sunday, I just go out for 2 hours early in the morning to kind of maybe get some of those drunks, I guess, the last little spurts, or just people going to work, so that's kind of how I go about it.
Okay. Remind me, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You're in San Diego, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I live in Chula Vista, which is 10 minutes south of like the core of downtown San Diego. Maybe, yeah, about 10 minutes tops. No
So
traffic.
you're in a reasonably decent market.
Really good market, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So people, okay. I know the negative Nellies are going to come out and go, oh, he has no life. He has blah, 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 blah. Okay. Because look, we put these behind the wheel series. We've been doing it for over a year and a half. Quite popular, actually. Some are drivers who are complaining, and some are drivers like yourself who seem like they love what they're doing,
No,
right?
I love it. I love it.
I believe 70% probably or more drivers like what they're doing with Uber and Lyft. Although the pay is garbage sometimes. Look, I'm not going to deny it. There are problems.
Yeah,
No business is without problems. Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
And but here's the picture of a hustler, right?
Yeah.
He's young, he's hustling, he has plans. I'm sure we're going to talk about it shortly.
Yeah, definitely.
And he likes what he's doing. So I asked this to everyone that I interview on Behind the Wheel. Okay. Give me two things you like about doing rideshare and give me two things you dislike about doing rideshare.
Cool. So obviously the first one is start whenever you want, go as long as you want. Like what job does that?
Yeah.
So and then I get to meet a lot of people. I love that. And I'll give you a third one. I love the weekly pay. So I don't do the instant pay. I don't if I was in that big of a bind, I love that I could do the instant, but I'm financially, good, so I don't need to do that. And a big negative I found was I tend to be very hear a lot of complaints, right? Someone accepts a ride and they're sitting there for 5 minutes. I accept the ride and I go. And so the thing is, I tend to always beat their time predictions. And I started to realize, like, I accepted a ride, say it was $12, for example. I get there, we're finished. All of a sudden, it says $9 at the end of the ride.
Yep.
And so then I'm like, what the heck happened? And then I called them, and obviously I'm a rookie, I'm new at it. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, oh, we don't know. And so then I started screenshotting everything. Come
Yeah.
to find out, all of a sudden, when oh, would you have the screenshot? I'm like, here you go. And they're like, okay, yeah, here's the difference.
Yeah.
So now,
That's what we recommend for years, right?
yeah,
Because look, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, to be perfectly honest with
yeah, it
you, we
sucks.
don't
Yeah,
need to play police. We're already driving. It's dangerous enough, right? We don't,
yeah,
if we have
exactly.
10 seconds to
Screenshotting, seeing if
I
it's worth.
mean, it's too much work for what the job is. I mean, that's definitely a negative. Yeah, the upfront. See, before upfront fares, you're new. You only know upfront fares. Before upfront fares, we had a rate card,
Mhm.
meaning just like cabs, right? Time and
Yeah,
distance. We knew what we were
my
going to get
dad, my
paid.
dad was doing that with the rate card. He's the one that recommended it to me long ago, and I should have done it long ago,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I was having too much fun. Kind of, I guess, what I like about the W-2 job is I'm able to listen to a little more podcasts while I'm driving. I listen to, I'd say, 30 hours a week of macroeconomics podcasts,
yeah.
investing podcasts, all that stuff. So I get to learn and I get paid to learn, and so for me, that's why I love it. But I also um another positive would be I get to talk to so many people, and whereas before I was just in my own little shell in a way. But I'd say that's honestly my biggest negative. I don't know if I could come up with another negative.
Yeah.
For me, it's just I guess them kind of like trying to take your money when they have originally told you this is what you're going to get paid.
Yeah, there's a lot of that bait and switch happens,
Yep,
but then as long as you have the screenshots, you have proof, right? I
exactly, and
mean,
I get paid the difference when I send them that. So, I try not to get too mad at the support because they're in the gray. They don't know what's going on.
I have
So,
no idea. I have no idea. But so you've been doing the delivery side for 6 years,
yeah,
right? Rideshare just for 9 months.
yeah,
Now, the 9 months is long enough to figure out the good, bad, the ugly
yeah,
about rideshare,
definitely.
right? So which one do you like more? Or do you like them equally? I mean, it's like asking a
I'm
parent, which child do you like more, right?
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to go with the W-2 cannabis because it does pay really well. The thing is, when it's not busy, you're sitting there, but I'm sitting there making $20 an hour just watching this video. So
Yeah.
it's not too bad because honestly, I've have noticed since January, it has slowed down big time. Like, Costco gas, that's where I go. There's always a line. Right now, there's
Yeah.
no one there getting gas. So it just
Yeah.
shows me it's kind of dead. And I looked up Uber's graphs and all that. January and February are the worst months on money,
They
like
are.
cheaper. So I'm like, I'm being patient. I don't care. I got
No,
two.
no. I mean, well, they are, but plus you're also in a little bit of a seasonal kind of a city, right?
In a way, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
beach,
But I mean,
all that.
it is the same for nationwide though. You know,
Yeah,
first quarter usually is the slowest quarter,
yeah.
and then things will pick up.
It picks up. Yeah, so
So
I was averaging, I don't know, sometimes I sent you some of the screenshots.
yeah,
Online time I was making 37 an hour, not active time,
yeah,
online time.
yeah,
And so now it's like I'm going out and it's like $20, $22 and I'm like, well, at least at work I could sit there and make $20 and I even move my car. So that's the
yeah,
only reason I picked that one, and it does come with like I have Sharp Medical, which is a really good medical plan. Like it's super high end. Like it's like a 3,000 max out of pocket. It's a great thing. I get free dental, vacation and holiday pay. So that's Uber doesn't do that. And so
yeah.
but yeah, if I had to pick, I guess it's gonna have to be the W-2 just because of the little more benefit to it. But I can't knock Uber, man. It's awesome too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, but you have like the best of both worlds, right? You
I
have a
do.
W-2 that you can depend on, right?
Exactly.
And you know what's coming in there. It's almost like a guarantee, right? I
Exactly.
mean, tips will make it fluctuate probably,
Yeah, but
but
not a big
the
flip.
other one is a perfect supplement, which I believe, look, I've been around for 8, 9 years on these platforms. Initially, you could have done this full time,
Yeah,
right? And
right.
my
That's
heart
what I
goes
heard.
out to all the people who have to do this full time, right? But I believe now it's a perfect side hustle. It really is. It's like,
I call it the ultimate side hustle.
yeah,
That's what I call it. Where can you just already have a car? You already, have your car and all that, and within a week you have $1,000 in your pocket.
yep,
Like what hustle can you get 4 grand that you don't have to build that hustle and you
yeah.
just start like that? That's why I get like I mean, I get it. Uber and Lyft, they're making a lot of money, but again, it's like without them, you wouldn't be making anything. So
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, I do pound these companies, you watch us.
definitely, yeah,
So,
I like that you do
but
that.
rightfully so,
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
then, I mean, I don't need to be an investigative journalist, but look, they do shady stuff. We
They
nail
do
them, we get
big
the money
time,
back and all that stuff. But the
unfortunately.
point is, they have spent literally, no joke, $35 billion to
Mhm.
create this marketplace. Without that, where would you be making money? I
I
mean,
didn't spend a penny. I just turned on the app and made money.
yeah, I mean, because I do help a lot of startups, and they are figuring that out. That yeah, you can get all the drivers on the planet, but getting the riders, creating that marketplace is very expensive,
Very expensive.
and they have created it for you. Look, I don't know. I mean, I think, turn the app on, push a button, make some money. You're almost guaranteed to make something. I'm not
Something.
telling you you're profitable.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you you're making $50 an hour, whatever, but you will make something. In
Hmm.
what world can you have that, right?
Exactly. That's why I call it the ultimate side hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about you and your future plans. And I mean, if I may ask you, like for those couple 3 days or 30 hours, 35 hours, you're driving both, right? Uber and Lyft?
Correct.
Yeah,
The first 6 months, I only drove Uber because I wanted to get a feel for it. I felt like I'd be too overwhelmed trying to bounce back
yeah,
with still learning the process.
yeah.
But
And
now I do both, and now I do basically just Lyft because Lyft is my favorite, man. They're killing
yeah,
it. They're
yeah.
killing it.
Yeah, the lift has been coming on strong. Or, they left the company for dead. This new, crew came in and they're trying to bring it from the dead. But um, so what are you grossing? I mean, like
Yeah.
between Uber and Lyft
So between Uber and Lyft, I gross about 4 grand, about four to 4,500. I gross per
a
month.
month, per
Yeah,
month.
and then with
Okay.
my job, I make about 4,500 or so. Also
Okay, so that's decent income. Although I know San Diego is probably,
expensive.
well, I'm gonna say it's expensive, but probably not as expensive as LA, but I'm pretty sure it's up there.
Well, actually, Sergio, we had the most expensive housing in California recently,
Oh
San
my God.
Diego, where
Yeah.
our average home is $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the same here, right? A shack is like a
We
million
both, yeah,
bucks.
we're just hours away. So
Yeah.
our,
So the thing is, I'm hoping, because you said you listen to podcasts about economics, finance, investing, all that stuff,
your
right?
channel as well.
Well, I appreciate that, but and that's what I'm trying to do with my channel. I'm trying to pay it forward. I mean, if you know YouTube, there's no money in YouTube, uh, but paying it forward. I feel blessed that, at the position that I'm in. But I'm hoping you know your numbers. I'm hoping you know your costs on running your 2017, right? Honda Accord
Yeah, so
hybrid.
I got this a couple months ago. I still haven't ran my new numbers on this one. I did have my cost. It was about 30 cents on my Civic. So
Okay.
I got it really low. I got it super cheap. And essentially for those 4 years, all I did was oil changes and I changed my tires once.
Yeah.
So in 4 years. So essentially it was no repairs. And then I got rid of it. I bought that for 18 grand right before the COVID inflation.
Yeah.
And I was actually able to get rid of it for 9 grand recently. And then I was able to put it into this car. So,
That's
but I
amazing.
still haven't calculated my cost on this car.
It'll
So,
be a little bit higher probably.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
bigger car, heavier
it's a
car. You
hybrid.
probably have to change brakes and tires more often, but that's one thing that you should do, right? Don't procrastinate. Figure out your cost because once you know your cost per mile, then you can accept or decline a trip. So talking about accepting and declining, we have a saying, decline garbage, know your worth. What kind of driver are you? Are you a cherry picker? Are you an ant? What
I'm
are
right
you?
in between. I'm kind of like that last guy you had on, Patrick.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like him. I'm at the 40%, but I will be honest to. I also listened to another channel you probably heard of him, Ronnie Speed, the 2K a week
yeah,
challenge.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He also had Raphael on.
yeah.
But I tend to I started by accepting almost everything and just to learn my market
Yeah,
also, and understand it and see what's worth it and what's not worth it. I had
yeah,
to learn it for myself.
yeah,
It's one thing watching people, it's another thing doing it yourself.
yeah.
So I started, I'd say I was like 80% acceptance rate, 85 maybe. And then I slowly started seeing like, okay, this was not worth it, bro. I'm like cursing out like while I'm like picking this person up in my head, I'm like, dude, what is this crap? It's like $6 an hour or something.
Yeah.
So then I slowly started cherry picking. And then yeah, so I tend to cherry pick. Right now, since it's slow, I tend to just take everything right now.
Yeah,
And I do take the $3 rides if it's gonna position me well
yeah,
into some zone I want to go that I was already probably gonna drive to for free.
yeah,
So and then for some reason, I guess maybe from the customer service or from picking up people who, I mean, how many people say I don't take a $3 ride, meaning they're probably waiting the longest for a ride.
yep,
And so when I get them, the first thing they go, thank you so much for picking me up. They end up
yep,
tipping me more than the ride
yep,
cost. So
yep.
that happens a lot, a lot, a lot.
So here's a tip for you. Okay, so since you're comfortable doing deliveries, okay, I would recommend that you add a couple of more apps to your toolbox. Okay, sign up with DoorDash.
Okay.
Sign up. Well, Uber Eats you can do already. It's in
I
your
do.
app.
Yeah.
Turn that
What's the
on.
problem? It's worth it.
I'm telling you, during the slow season for rideshare,
Hmm.
you will supplement your rideshare income
Yeah.
with deliveries because you're comfortable doing deliveries. It's the same thing basically, and the tips sometimes are good if you really cherry pick
No,
and know
yeah, I
what
was,
you're
I
doing.
was, when I first started, I was doing Uber Eats deliveries as well. And they were sometimes coming out to one drop was like $30. Like it was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
so turn that on as well because if you're
Yeah.
on, right? I mean, might
Yeah.
as
So I
well.
recently turned it back on because I had it off because I like getting doing deliveries, but this is my half where I like to just stay in the car. I
Yeah,
do sometimes get annoyed. I have to get out all the time. I
yeah,
do
but
like that they jump in, but because I do 32 hours of getting out of the car already.
yeah,
So
but it's all about stacking the money, man. You know
no,
what I
I'm
mean?
still doing it. Definitely, I
You're
agree.
an independent contractor, right? I
Yeah,
mean, we have a saying on Show Me the Money, right? My time is for sale to the highest bidder. I mean, I have all these apps on and I'm like, okay, you pay me the best, I'm going to work for you. And
exactly.
that's what I love about this gig, right? The gig economy.
Hmm.
I mean, but so you're bringing in the cash, right? I'm hoping you're saving and investing,
Yeah.
right? And what are your future plans? I mean, look, you can't, this is not I don't think this is a career, okay? This is something you do point A to point B or
It's a
plan A to plan
supplemental
B.
or a side hustle, something that
Yeah.
can help you get to where you need to go.
Okay, what are those plans? Are you going to school? Did you go to school? What are you going to do?
No, so I didn't go to school. I was kind of raised by entrepreneurs. My dad had a limousine company.
Okay.
So I've seen the rideshare world of limos and helping them detail it. He was also into real estate, auto body paint shop, buy salvage cars, fix them up. So I kind of saw, more business entrepreneur, I guess, in myself. And so I wasn't heavily in the business of cannabis. I was in cultivation. So at that, and then my early 20s, I was making six figures. So my point is, I'm a gold and silver guy. I love to save. I've been buying gold and silver. Gold was at 1,800. Now it's at almost 2,700.
Yep.
So that's my savings. That's my insurance. I bought Bitcoin at 19K. I attribute that to luck. And because I'm not a big crypto guy. I just see if it can be something in the future. I mean, I don't want to. That's kind of my 10% speculation portfolio there. I don't put too
Okay.
much into that. I just buy it, hold it. Whatever happens, happens, right? And if it's only 10% and it fails, I don't eat it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So I save, I invest, I like to invest in dividend portfolio stocks, like mostly tobacco stocks, because even in a recession, people are still smoking cigarettes.
That's
And,
true.
uh,
That's
and everywhere I go, I get annoyed of these vapors, right? Why not make money off of them? So
yeah, no, it's a true thing in a recession, right? People eat more and smoke more and drink more.
more. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
a
why not
given.
invest in those things? And they
Yeah.
pay really handsome dividend. And I like to look at portfolios of companies with good balance sheets, low debt, stuff like that. So
Right.
that's another thing. And the main thing I want to get into is real estate.
Okay.
I'm very, very lucky. My grandfather, who lives in Mexico, he has seven properties that have been cash flowing for 50 years. He's leaving that to the family. So obviously, I've been studying a lot of real estate management, stuff like that. And so I definitely want to do that as well as start a little bit of investing in real estate here. And now with this bigger income, I'm definitely able to, even in San Diego where it's super expensive.
Great. Well, see, this is the picture of a hustler, like I said before, right? He may not be sleeping as much as other people like,
Well, I
but
sleep 6 hours to 7 hours minimum a night. So I go
uh,
to bed by 10 and what is that, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I sleep at least 6 hours. There's some people that don't even sleep that and they're not even
yeah,
working that much.
yeah, yeah. No, but it seems like you enjoy what you're doing, though,
Oh,
right?
I love it, dude. I love it.
Okay. I mean, you do this as long as you can, as long as your body lasts, and number
Yeah.
two, as long as your car lasts, obviously, right?
Yeah. And I recommend getting like a Tempur-Pedic, like seat cushion because, oh man, it's made a world of a difference, bro. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have a few more minutes remaining. So what I want to do in those minutes is I want to give you the floor because you have, for me, the most important thing in doing gig work is attitude. Okay.
Mental, mental.
Yeah, it's exactly because look, man, it's not. I mean, we're not digging ditches, right? We're not. I mean, listen, this is not a rocket science.
They want construction work money while sitting in their car in pajamas, like,
Yeah, man. I mean, the other thing is like, it's not a difficult. I mean, look, it is difficult. It's dangerous. Safety obviously is a
yeah, there's
consideration.
some work to
However,
there's some
you're
work to
picking
it.
up point A, dropping off point B. The marketplace is ready for you already.
My grandma could do that.
You
Drive me
are, yeah.
A to
Okay.
B.
That's where you're going to get a lot of heat now. But but uh, but the point I'm trying to make is you enjoy what you're doing, but then we have drivers like you that I've interviewed. Their attitude is absolutely phenomenal, right? They are not negative. They're getting into it with no super high expectations. And it shows, right? Because you are the face of Uber and Lyft for those 10, 15, 20 half minutes or half hour. And the rider will get that. And your tips will go higher if your attitude is better.
Yeah,
And tips are a considerable part of
they're a
your.
huge maker in your income. Yeah, definitely.
So have you always been this like outgoing and or
Yeah,
positive attitude? Well, I can tell you, glass half full for sure.
yeah. So
Um,
my saying is, I'm not glass half full or half empty. My glass is overflowing. That's how.
wow. See what I mean? I should introduce you to Jeff from South Carolina. He's just like you. But so yeah,
Yeah, I've
tell us
always
a
been
little.
like this, Sergio. When I was 19, I was working 70 hours a week between two jobs, making in 2009, I was making 50 grand a year. There's people barely making that today.
Yeah,
And the cost and inflation has just skyrocketed where 50K to me is 10K, like.
yeah, I agree. So, well, tell us, give us advice, right? It doesn't have to be rideshare advice because you're only doing it 9 months, but it seems like you talk like a veteran already.
Because these six
Um,
deliveries, yeah.
yeah. So, give us some advice, general advice to our audience
Cool. Yeah. So I do have some advices, you know, with rideshare and just life, I guess.
Absolutely.
Be patient, man. Be patient. You gotta learn to be patient. My dad always told me be patient, but sometimes he even wasn't patient. So I get it. It's easy to say it, but this has definitely taught me to be patient. Where some jerk is trying to cut me off or whatever, I can't really react to it. When you don't have a passenger, you can be like, "Why for you?" Whatever.
Right.
You have a passenger, you got to be calm and professional, and
Yeah.
so you got to learn to be patient. It's mental. It's all mental. You got to have goals. If not, what's your purpose? What's your point? What are you doing this for? Is it, that's probably why a lot of people tend to complain, is because they don't even know what mission they're on. And so, have goals, stretch a lot, get seat covers. They saved me for one construction guy. I wasn't even a drunk person. He didn't know he had paste, I guess, on his back, like construction paste or something. And I have heavy duty pet seat covers. And so it took the blunt of it, and Uber, I took a picture, they reimbursed me, and I was able to get another cover. So definitely the cover's a must. Dash cam is a must. I did not take one single ride before I had that dash cam installed. And it does upload to the cloud. So if they were to yank it or even take my phone, I could just download the app again at home and have all my videos
Are
there.
you using display ride?
Right. Display ride.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm using just my dash cam. That it
Yeah, I
has
know,
it.
but what brand is it? Because not.
Oh, it's called Nexar. So it takes the inside of the cabin and it takes the outside as well. And it does
Oh, does it
audio.
upload directly to the cloud?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so, have air fresheners, vacuum constantly. Don't smoke in your car. Don't vape in your car. Get to that diamond for the new drivers. Get to diamond. Get your bonus. After that, start cherry picking. And also a big one for me is get a Costco cashback card. I pay $3.98 right now for a gallon of gas. I see sometimes around the city it's like $4, $5, $6.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I get 10 cents back for every gallon. So every February, I'm getting back about, through all my grocery shopping and gas, I'm getting about $1,200 cash back of my own money. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend getting the Costco card just to always have that. And obviously, I go really early. No one's there from 5 a.m. to like 7 a.m. or so. There's no line. You go straight to the pump, because I know Costco's, you'll rip your hair out if you go in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are kind of just some of the advice, I guess.
Yeah.
And my strategy for it is just like Patrick, who you had on recently. I aim for 30 an hour minimum,
Yeah.
like minimum. Um, my thing is, $5, 10-minute ride total time, pick up and drop off total. And so the way you go about it is, obviously you see the dollar sign, you get that dollar sign, you multiply it by 60 minutes,
Yeah.
and then that's what you're gonna get, that number. And I think I actually wrote it down the exact way I do it. So the money you divide it by, and by the time, then you
Yeah.
multiply it by 60, and
Yeah.
that's going to be your hourly right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lyft in a lot of cities, by the way, is showing that to you
I
now.
love that.
But
Yeah.
it's showing the active time though. It's not showing the online time.
Mm,
But you're doing it online time because I believe online time is important. I mean, active
exactly.
time is like, I don't know. It's just something they made up when they came around. But no, man, these are, amazing advice, and your attitude is phenomenal, right? And it will show to your riders, right?
Yeah,
And
they
it
tell
will
me.
translate into higher tips. Look, tips
Mm,
are all yours. Tips are just I think, tips basically have replaced the incentives that these companies used to put
yeah,
out. They don't put
yeah.
out incentives anymore,
And also
but
another one is get play octopus. That's like a must too. That's free money.
free money.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So
So, well, if you don't have anything else, I'm gonna end it here. My
uh,
hat's off to you.
I
Yeah.
had just two. Well, yeah, two small things. I just want to say my favorite line from you is "Hocus Pocus," as well as my other favorite line is "Why do you drive if it's so bad?" And they never got an answer for it. And then also,
Yeah, we, look, man, we're a rideshare channel, right? But we're the Mr. Beast of rideshare, right?
definitely, yeah, you guys are
Whatever,
the shit.
whatever,
Yeah,
for whatever's that worth. But the point is, nobody's putting a gun to anybody's head to do this.
yeah,
Delete the app, bro.
yeah,
Like, I mean, they have enough drivers, right? But
yeah.
then when
And
I say that, people get upset at me. But I really think every human, okay, is capable of doing a lot more than what
amen to
just
that.
rideshare is.
Yes.
If you're stuck in this box and if you can't get out, I will try to help you to get out,
Mhm.
with other things, finance, investing, and things like that. But you have to be willing to do that.
Mhm.
I can't do it for you. You have to do it,
And
right?
yeah, I recommend people have multiple income streams, and do something you're passionate about that may turn into income one day. Just
Yeah.
like you, Uber isn't your only income. It's, You can't do that. No successful entrepreneur has just one income, one job. That doesn't make sense. You need multiple avenues of income. When one's doing bad, the other four are doing great. You know, it's a great way to balance everything out. But just before we go, my last true advice, you know, not to get a little, you know, I know some people are probably going to hate on this, but what really changed my life in my mid 20s, I found God, and it added such a peace to my life. And it brought me out of such darkness I was in, drug addiction. I was making a lot of money in my early 20s. And like I told you, in the cannabis industry. And it really led me astray and full of my own pride. And it just destroyed me. And I ended up at rock bottom like many do.
Yeah.
And so I think, honestly, if anyone could take anything away from this, God changed my life, and he can to you too. And he'll lighten a path where you'll realize, you know, maybe you're stuck in rideshare, you feel like you're in debt and you can't get out of it. You know, give it up to God, and he's going to bless you, and he's going to get your mind right, and he's going to get you out of that gutter. And so for me, that's the biggest thing, is that changed my attitude, and it changed my life.
Yeah, all I have to say to that is amen, brother.
Appreciate
So,
you.
look, my hat's off to you, okay? Keep it up, keep in touch, obviously you will. And you know, keep us posted with what's going on in your life, because, you know, by creating this community, we've created friendships, relationships for life, right?
Mhm.
And so for if you need anything, whatever you need, we're here for you. And thank you for doing it. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Sergio, and I'll be definitely watching your finance channel. So, because I do want to also get heavier into stocks, you know. So, and it's not something that's like, the only easy thing for me is picking simple dividend stocks, you know. And you are an expert in that, and I'm clearly not. So, I do love that you're, you know, starting that channel, and I'm definitely watching. So,
Pay it forward, buddy. Pay it forward.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate
All
you
right,
and
take
Chris
care.
and everyone at the Rideshare community, man.
Thank you.
It's a great community.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Wheel on the Rideshare Guy. We've been doing these interviews for the past 6 months with very successful drivers from different cities around the nation. Click here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications for other episodes of Behind the Wheel, as well as amazing content on our channel.